That time again, YouTube, King Nazru with a review of Rosario Vampire Chapter 20. We start off with Skune waking up, writhing in pain, and he notices that the bite marks left from Mocha, no, because he's a vampire, uh, are still on his neck, which is kind of odd because they usually fade away, and he's starting to worry about that. The next morning, Scooney meets up with Mocha, who has gotten up early because she's excited about voting for the class manager, who is currently Scooney, but he asked for a re-election in the last two chapters because he feels that if he becomes class manager, that'll uh, give a bit greater chance of the other students figuring out that Scooney is in fact human, and according to the school's rules, if a human is on the campus, they must be killed on sight or risk them telling the secret to humanity that monsters exist. So, Mocha says uh, that she notices that Scooney looks a bit pale and wonders if he's alright. Scooney tries to say that he's fine, but she notices that the bite marks are still on his neck, which, as I said before, is strange because they usually heal after a short period of time. Uh, and probably because of the bite marks, Skune unwittingly starts smelling Mocha, and when he finally realizes what he's doing, he is disturbed by this behavior and tries to keep a safe distance from her. Uh, then Mizure Shirayuki throws an ice shard at Mocha, which is engraved, "Don't get too close to Skune." Yeah. So, so even though Mizure is now friends with the girls, she still is about as competitive as she was before. So Skune confronts her about this, saying, "What is she doing back there? You're not supposed to attack your friends, Shirayuki." And Mizure, in response, says she wants him to call her Mizure because she's felt that they've gotten closer now, which is a good thing to confirm that Mizure is actually being nicer to the gang, or as much as she could at this point. And Skune also hopes that the gang can continue to be friends with Mizure. Then, at the classroom, Miss Nekonami declares that the class manager is still Skune, much to his horror. And it turns out the students voted for him because he's well-minded, uh, strong despite his appearance, and has helped Mizure come back to class and make friends. And coming back for the first time since the first semester is Saizou. You know, Saizou, that bully from the first chapter that tried to rape Mocha and beat up Skune. Yeah. He's back, and he's apparently pissed that Skune is class manager. And it turns out that back in the first review where I said that Saizou is an ogre, it turns out that was only half right. He's actually half ogre. And because he's a hybrid and not a pureblood, he's considered an outcast monster. And as the name implies, he's that's pretty frowned upon. Which brings up another question. If Skone has babies with either Mocha, Kurumu, Yukari, Mizure, or Ruby, won't they become half-breeds and be considered outcasts? Huh. Oh well, we'll cross that. We'll burn that bridge when we cross it. So, Saito says that he knows that it wasn't in fact Skune that beated Saito, but Inner Mocha, and without the help of Inner Mocha, Skune would not have been able to to survive their encounter, and he doesn't. And because he's so weak, he doesn't deserve to be class manager. But the students disregard this because they think he's jealous because Ch.20 defeated him, or so they think. Which continues to piss off Saizou, and he tells himself that he's going to get even with Ch.20. Ch.20 leaves the class because he is stressed by the fact that Saizou will probably want revenge against him, and the fact that his neck is hurting, and he's still curious about why it's not healing. And then when the class is over, Ch.20 is invited by Kurumu to eat with the rest of the girls, which leads to this little funny bit about Yukari being jealous of Kurumu's breasts being able to smother Ch.20. So that probably might be another explanation of why Yukari and Kurumu have a bit of antagonist, hate-friendship relationship, for lack of a better term. Then Kurumu, like Mocha, notices that Ch.20's not feeling very well, and Ch.20 says that it's due to Mocha's bite marks. Then Mocha arrives and tells Ch.20 that Miss Nekonami has assignments for him as class manager. Excuse me. We also get to see Mizure eating alongside them from behind a bush, which is kind of actually progress for Mizure, since she would usually stay quite a bit of a distance away. So she'll probably in the later chapters she'll actually hang out with the girls in full view. Speaking of viewing, Saizou is actually watching them from the roof, and he's still jealous. He's wondering how Ch.20 could possibly hang out with someone like Mocha, the school queen, Kurumu, the second most popular girl, and Yukari, the smartest girl in the entire school. And Saizou is apparently in a gang full of misfit monsters. And the other outcast monsters said that they have heard how Ch.20 beat Kuyo and Chopper, and are reluctant to actually take someone this powerful. However, Saizou says that's a whole bunch of bullshit, because he knows that Ch.20 is in fact weak. But the leader, Midao, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says that if he is in fact going to take on Ch.20, he's not allowed to lose since he represents them, and the outcast monsters need to beat strong, pure-blood monsters in order to gain respect within the school, and possibly take it over. Yeah, that's that kind of story. So, another outcast monster member, Maroha, says he'll join Saizou in the fight because he's interested in fighting someone as strong as Ch.20. Then another one says that Ch.20 doesn't look very well, and that they should take advantage of this. And Saizou agrees with this, and says that he'll kill Ch.20 and make Mocha his woman, willingly or not. Based on his past reactions, it'll be most likely be not willingly. So Ch.20 continues to feel sick, and Mocha gets worried, which, due to the nature of the blood, that we have to assume that it's still inside Ch.20, Ch.20 starts unwittingly doing weird things, and one of them turns out to be unwittingly trying to bite Mocha's breast. It's a harem anime, okay? And when Mocha pushes Ch.20 back, Inner Mocha says that the reason this is happening is because Ch.20 resisted the blood that was in him since his last transformation. Not entirely sure how he did that, but let's roll with it. and it's causing it to spread amongst across his body. And if this continues, it might actually consume his heart. Wow, this shit really got heavy. And Inamoka starts blaming herself because Skinny didn't show any symptoms, so it really pains her that she didn't see this coming. But suddenly Saizou arrives, preparing to fight Skinny, and Roha greets himself and attacks Skinny from behind. He slashes at Skinny's back with his knife hands and leaves a scar so deep that it appears not only on his back but also on his chest. And because Moroha was able to get the drop on Skinny so easily, he says that this is quite disappointing, and perhaps Skinny is not as strong as the rumors appear. As the rumors say, because no monster could possibly have this slow of a reaction to an attack. So, Mocha tries to help Skinny by feeding him the blood so he won't die, and to help him turn into a temporary vampire and fight, so he can fight back. But Saizou is wise to this, and well, not to this specifically, because he thinks that Skinny will just remove the rosary and she'll turn into inner Mocha. So he keeps Mocha away from Skinny, and then tries to prepare to rape her. Called it. And Skinny, near death, and lamenting how he can't protect his friends, this forces him to go into his vampire mode and takes on the Saizou gang. And it's Inamoka confirms this by saying, due to the stress of near death and not being completely defensive, is what forcing the Latin blood to activate. And as predicted, Skinny easily beats the gang, in a rather severe way, no less, by throwing Moroha at Saizou, and then Saizou getting up to try to fight Skinny, saying that he can't accept that Skinny is a vampire, that he's just too weak to be one, and tries one final attack, but Skinny managed to easily beat him with a stomach punch. Throw in your Dragon Ball Z abridged jokes. And once Skinny turns back to normal, Mocha hugs Skinny, saying that she's a little bit worried because she feels that everything is changing. And finally, we see Mudao was watching the whole time, and since Skinny has attacked Saizou, really Saizou made the initial attack. Oh, screw it. Skinny has officially made himself an enemy of the outcast monsters. Yeah, this was a pretty interesting chapter. Some things I liked was that we see that Misery is actually becoming closer to the gang, more or less. We're finally seeing some results about what Inner Mocha was talking about, the dangers of transferring blood into a human, and that it's not how it is like in the myths and the movies. There's actually a bit of danger to it besides the low percent chance of dying. I mean, not the low percent chance of dying, the high percent chance of dying, and the low percent chance of turning to an actual vampire. So Skinny could actually turn into something far worse. And we also get to see what's happened to Saizou since the first chapter, and we're being introduced to a new enemy, the Outcast group. So next time we'll head into chapter 21 and see Just what happens to Saizou when he fails.